Hey, good Monday morning, YouTube. The saga of heat at Hugmeister's Garage continues. And I keep messing around with this thing, and I think I finally got it solved. So, this is what we ended up doing temporarily. I ended up putting up that 20 by 20 heat exchanger that we tore out of my dad's furnace. It was like a year old, flushed it out, it's good. I made some brackets for it that screw up to the plywood. Got it plumbed in. I had a couple small fans behind it and it wasn't driving enough hot water through it, but I went over to Dollar General. Of course, you throw a stone and they're within 50 feet of most people's houses. And I just bought a cheap 20-inch fan to give this a final test. And this really puts out some nice heat now. This actually brings the garage up real quick, which is what I wanted. Plus, that's with the radiant running as well. So the fan kind of moves the heat around. It's more even over here, but this isn't done yet because what we ended up going with is a 24 volt DC fan that's going to run right off my battery bank upstairs, and we're going to end up with our energy savings as what we originally wanted. But I'm going to make a shroud out of this. I already got it marked. I got to drill it with some self-tappers on those lines. It's going to screw into these flanges on the back. And when I get the fan, I'm going to lay it on there and cut my 14-inch circle. And that should really work good. I also got a small speed controller for it, so I can vary the speed of the DC fan. But this is all wired and ready to go. And I'll show you the sequence of operation. I upgraded my my control drawing on here, and what we got is this is our Takeo 4-zone control. Say it's not being used conventionally; it's being more used as a relay center. But when my garage thermostat calls for heat, that'll close. I got this jumpered so it closes all 4 of these zones. That supplies 10 or 24 volts to my 24 volt Ranco switch. And when that calls for heat, my zone valve will closes the end switch. So that'll close this end switch. And then it'll send power to the Ranco. As soon as the water temperature hits 130 degrees, it'll pull in the pump relay, and that'll activate the pump. And that also turns on a rib relay in the house and a green light in the living room that lets me know that the garage is calling for heat. So if I'm over there and I see the green light on, I know I forgot to turn the heat off. But that will tell the main boiler pump to turn on, because that supplies this garage, and then this is just a booster pump. And then I put a snap switch on the hot water coil, because this is 24 volts. I had to isolate that. When that reaches 120 degrees, pulls in the fan relay, turns on my fan. Now I was going to just parallel that off of this, but when it's not real cold over here, I can actually shut this fan system off and just go with the radiant, and I'll save even more energy. So with that isolated on that, all I got to do is shut the valves off and the fan won't run. But basically there you are. That's your line voltage coming into that R1. Turns your pump on, 24 volt DC from upstairs, fused of course, and that'll turn on our 24-inch fan. And I think we got it. And we're going to be going from 545 to 575 watts with that old homemade system I had with an old furnace, an old furnace box and furnace motor and an old coil out of my my old furnace, and that was almost 20 years old. So this needed an upgrade. This is going to be nice and tight. I still can walk under it. I gained a little room here. And when I get the rest of the parts in, I'll show you the finished product. Here's hoping. Alright, she's all finished up. That's our DC fan running. And in a second, I'll take you around back and show you how the shroud turned out. Alrighty, let's get this finished up. Show you what we got here. We got our shroud cut it in, and that's a 14-inch 24-volt fan that I got off of eBay for $27. It's one of those electric car radiator fans, and that's all enclosed with some gasketing so you don't get any leakage, and it blows the complete heat load right out the front, so that works really good. There's our fan coil switch up there, temperature switch. So if I turn this fan or the fan system off, that fan won't try to run because that switch won't be satisfied. But got this dialed in with that's our speed controller for that fan. I dial it right in around 80 watts, and so with that combined with our 42 watts on our pump, we come out with 128 watts, something like that, and we save 400 watts from the old system with the fan. So, in the conclusion on this, we save some power, and there's a more even heat in here. This radiant is nice. You stand under it, and it just, you can feel it coming down, but it wasn't enough output to totally heat the garage once it dropped below a certain temperature. So that fan unit solved that, gives us some options. Say now this whole system is on solar, my batteries will last longer, so on the cloudy days it won't be switching back to line voltage as much. So have a good weekend and a good Christmas, folks.